Welcome to SVG-TV News for Tuesday, June 23, 2015. I'm Lauren Fraser with the details. Ecuadorian officials yesterday handed over to the government and people of SVG the longest and widest bridge in the country at the moment. The handing over of the Hope Bridge brought to 4 the number of bridges to be completed and presented to the government here within a week by the South American country. Speaking at the handing over ceremony of the Hope Bridge, Chief Engineer in the Ministry of Transport and Works, Brent Bailey, says the bridge is 82 feet in width with 2 lanes and a pedestrian sidewalk. Bailey adds that the height of the bridge has also been increased and some 320 feet of river defenses have been put in place upstream of the bridge.
The concept here is to ensure that the waters flow unimpeded and do not disrupt lives, does not cause loss of life. And that is what we the ministry, are primarily focused on, ensuring that the lives of our citizens are protected first and foremost. I would like to extend my compliments to the Ecuadorian Army Corps of Engineers who have constructed this bridge in 8 months, in addition to the 3 bridges in North Leeward. This of itself is no small feat because they had to leave their country and operate under Vincentian conditions, under Vincentian constraints, and they have done so in time, in budget, and this is a feat par excellence.
Ecuadorian Director of Naval Operations and Joint Commander of Armed Forces, Admiral Ronald Munoz, says the construction of the bridges is a show of their solidarity, and adds that they're pleased to have had the opportunity to provide tangible social benefits to the people of SVG.
At the end of this mission, we return to our country with the satisfaction of the fulfilled duty to contemplate with enthusiasm these works, product of the solidarity and the humanitarian mission arranged by the government of Ecuador. It will contribute positively to the well-being of the community, as well as for the promotion of the ties of brotherhood among people, brethren of our region, based on a strong sense of solidarity and friendship. On behalf of the government of the Republic of Ecuador and its armed forces, I reiterate to VICIS our deep appreciation for the hospitality provided to all the Ecuadorian contingent that work on these lands. And I pray to the Creator a promising future of progress and development for the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to maintain peace and steady growth for the good living of its entire population.
And Vice Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Integration of the Republic of Ecuador, Leonardo Arizaga, says it is their strong belief that only solidarity will allow the countries of the region to overcome difficulties and promote development.
Solidarity does not mean giving leftovers. It means giving what is missing. Admittedly, we lack resources in Ecuador. We lack schools, we lack hospitals, we lack roads, we also lack bridges. But the Ecuadorian people will always have room for solidarity. Thus, the Ecuadorian Army Corps of Engineers has arrived in this island to carry out its task. Let me thank them, these outstanding professionals, who just like in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, were also in Haiti after the earthquake, in Cuba after a terrible storm. And we are sure they will go anywhere where they are needed.
Prime Minister Dr. Alf Gonsalves says while he was heavily criticized by persons here for the cooperation between SVG and Ecuador, had it not been for that partnership, which was established through ALBA and CELAC, the 4 bridges recently built by the Ecuadorian Army Corps of Engineers would not have been a reality.
fact that Ecuador and the United States acted in a particular manner which was not consistent with our interests, it does not mean that we don't keep friendship with the United States of America and Ecuador. In any event, the government of Rafael Correa was not the government in power in Ecuador when the Ecuadorian government at that time was taking its measures against our bananas. Ecuador did not then have a sense of fraternity like Rafael has now and his government. And when the Vice Minister spoke, I don't know if you listened carefully, he said to us that solidarity is not about giving the extras what you have. No. Solidarity is about giving out of the little which Ecuador has. And that's the true mark of friendship. The opposition in this country said, why is he going there?
In expressing much thanks to the Ecuadorian government and people, the ruling Unity Labour Party candidate for the South Leeward constituency in the upcoming elections, Senator Jomo Thomas, says the work done by the team of Ecuadorian Army engineers is not just outstanding, but should be used as a marker for future projects that will be undertaken in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Because it is a tribute to the discipline of these brothers, these soldiers, these men and women, these lodestar of solidarity, that they would come here and do this work in so short a time and to help to train our people. I think that our country owes you a tremendous amount of gratitude. And we thank you from the bottom of our heart.
As SVG prepares to welcome the first cohort of Ecuadorian teachers to learn English as a second language, they are being promised quality teaching. Speaking at yesterday's signing ceremony at Cabinet Room to formalize the Go Teacher program between SVG and Ecuador, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Education Herr Gerlin Miguel told the Ecuadorian officials that the SVG Community College, where the Ecuadorian teachers will attend, is outfitted with seasoned teachers. Miguel says she is confident that the teachers at the SVG Community College will be able to deliver with excellence.
Excellence is not only what you do, but what you do to help others to become excellent. And I want to say, even before the students would come, they are welcome. They are welcome to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We will treat them as our own. I too, I have been, when I was Minister of Agriculture, I have been in Ecuador, because we were talking about the bananas and what we can do. And I have been well treated myself. So I just want to say how glad I am. It is a signal moment for us when the story of this cooperation is written. I know that today, the 22nd of June 2015, will be mentioned as a real important day.
This country is one step closer to being able to independently conduct post-disaster analysis as a result of a regional training workshop in Post-Disaster Needs Assessment, or PDNA, currently taking place here. Director of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, Howie Prince, says that the goal of NEMO is to independently conduct individual analyses after natural disasters correctly and without constantly depending on the UNDP and other international organizations. Prince says the workshop will assist the country in building its capacity to further manage and assess the needs of all after a natural hazard.
Looking back, we've always said, no, we need to be able to do things better. We need to be able to amalgamate that process, all these processes, and we need to be able to have a tool or methodology that can be sure that we don't have to do 5 assessments again. This PDNA process is intended to do exactly that. It is intended to be the instrument and process. Once we start an assessment, it takes us right through to the final assessment, which would inform what is needed for our recovery process. So today we have brought together all the sectors in the country. When you do the introduction, you realize you are representing all of the important sectors in the country.
The list of names to be removed from the voters list is expected to be published this Friday. The names are to be published in the media and in every constituency. Persons whose names appear on this list have a 30-day grace period after publication in which to provide evidence why their name should not be removed. Just over 23,500 names are to be removed from the list ahead of the upcoming general elections widely expected later this year. It will affect Vincentians whose national ID cards were issued prior to June 2005. At a media conference recently, Supervisor of Elections Sylvia Findlay Scrub says the number of persons on the present voters list, which stands at 107,208, is a misrepresentation of what the list ought to be when compared to the population of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A number of persons turned out at Blue Lagoon Prospect earlier today to seek employment as a call to hire workers was made for the fast food entity KFC SVG. SVG-TV News understands that some 450 persons came out for the job interviews conducted by Tessa Glass, one of the franchise holders of KFC SVG. Persons varying in age and background received numbers on a first-come, first-served basis and then waited patiently to be interviewed for the various positions. A few months ago, the banks closed in on the former franchise holder Ken Boye, forcing him to shut down the outlets, which resulted in over 100 persons being put out of a job. At Blue Lagoon today, new franchise holder Tessa Glass says she is not yet authorized to further speak on the matter, but just that they were going through a screening process to hire persons as they are preparing to relaunch the brand on the local market. SVG-TV also took the opportunity to speak with some of the persons who were there seeking a job, and many eagerly hoped that they could attain a position at the popular fast food entity.
Okay, well, I feel it's a tremendous opportunity for Vincentians, hence, because you know what is going on in St. Vincent right now, jobs are scarce, you know, bills to be paid and so forth. And I think that's a great opportunity that KFC is presenting Vincentians with. I think because there's a rise in crime and all, and I think that if there are more jobs, there will be less crimes and less suffocation in the island. So I kudos to KFC for this opportunity has been presenting to Vincentians, and all the best in the future.
I like how KFC opening, and I will like who employed will get you to get a job, and because things hard in the country, if country hard, we need jobs, and if they open back and give a few people work, that will be nice for all of we Vincentians.
How you feel about all these people coming down as well, themselves coming down? You know, what does they say? What do you think? What do you think?
Well, they're looking for work, that job, and I hope they will get it.
Well, I feel happy about the opportunities because it's good while the Kentucky closed, so I feel happy it's opening back so young people could get jobs like myself, you know, and there are many people down here looking for jobs because the situation in St. Vincent is very rough when coming upon job, you know, so I feel happy.
Most young people at home, not employed, and I think this is the best thing they can do to hire us young people because I'm tired of being at home and I really need a job.
So what made you get brave and put on your clothes and come out here with your resume to get this job?
Because as I said, I'm tired of being at home, and I think this is an opportunity for me to make myself employed and to better myself.
And what do you think about all these people out here coming out here to get a job?
I think it's a very good thing, and I hope that the government sees all these people here to see that you need to do something better with us young people.
In a media release last week, the new franchise holders stated that they intend to reopen each store separately and that they are working hard to rebuild the brand to its full potential and relaunching in St. Vincent as soon as possible. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union has expressed sadness by the death of 15-year-old Moesha Primus, a student of the intermediate high school who was reportedly killed by a student of the Lomans Leeward Anglican School last Thursday. According to a police report, Primus received a stab wound to her left side during an altercation with a 12-year-old student. She was rushed to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital where she succumbed to her injuries. The SVG-TU says it empathizes with the principal, staff, students, and parents of both students during this period of sadness. Meanwhile, the 12-year-old accused was taken to the family court yesterday where the charge of murder was read to her in the presence of her parents and lawyers. She was not allowed to plead to the indictable offense. The preliminary inquiry has been set for September 11th, 2015. Queen's Counsel Parnell Campbell believes that the abolition of corporal punishment has contributed to the fragmentation of discipline in schools. On his weekly televised The Law and You program, number 788, in the segment called Rights versus Responsibilities, the former Attorney General believes that globally the concentration on rights has caused youngsters not to be taught that they must be responsible.
Effective ways have to be found and used to discipline children when they do wrong, when they are disobedient, when they are truant. So if it was said that flogging, whether in schools or in the home, and I have noticed that the human rights industry has browbeated parents to such an extent that parents have been told you should not flog your children under any circumstances. Because that is domestic violence, which is a stretch. But
QC Campbell advocated the need for a replacement of disciplinary methods. He says if children are not given effective discipline and direction, they will become unruly adults.
They have to be trained that certain things are wrong, certain things are right, and if they continue to do the wrong things, they would be punished. So when one kind of punishment is abolished, you have to be careful and make sure it is replaced by another kind of punishment which would be effective. You can't just take away one kind of discipline and don't put something effective in its place. So if in schools it is felt that flogging is way out, it's barbaric, it should be banned and abolished, fine. But you have to find something to replace flogging as an effective means of disciplining children. Otherwise, they will remain unruly and they will get from bad to worse.
It's been 10 days since Leroy Douglas has been missing, and his wife Veronica says she still has faith that one day she would see her husband again. Douglas, a mechanic at Oscar's Machine, went line fishing on Sunday, June 14th at around 5:30 a.m. and has not been seen since. In a follow-up interview with SVG-TV earlier today, his distraught wife says while she is realistic about the situation, she has faith that whether it would be in this life or the afterlife, she would see her husband of 20 years someday. Douglas admits that she misses her husband terribly, but the tragedy has made her faith in God stronger.
I'm just keeping the faith. I'm still trusting and hoping to see him and to see him alive. God forbid, even though today is 10 days since he disappeared, because I know while there is life, there is hope. And being a Seventh Adventist Christian, and I learn to trust God, put my confidence in him, I know he's going to come through for me. And if I don't see him again on this earth, because he being a child of God, I'm going to see him in heaven. So I'm keeping the faith and I'm holding on, learning to be strong at the same time, and to endure any, or you could say everything that come my way, knowing that God is my helper and he will come through for me just on time.
The Prospect resident thanked everyone for their support and says this is a lesson for all to value those around them as well as their own life. She also appealed to persons to give their life to Jesus Christ.
Persons who are giving me support, I will just encourage them to, if they haven't yet given their life to Christ, please do so before time changes for eternity. This is a world where we are living in at. Today we are here. I don't like to say tomorrow we are gone. 1 minute we are here and the next minute we might be elsewhere. So when you have Christ in your life, you have everything. Circumstances, yes, would come your way. Sometimes you would wonder, why me or why us? But in everything, the Lord said to give thanks, and living close to Him and being there for Him is the very best thing one could ever do.
Carnival Beat is coming right up. The Carnival Development Corporation, the CDC, held its final press conference for the 2015 Carnival season earlier today, and according to the chairman of the corporation, Dennis Ambrose, so far the CDC shows have been resounding successes. Ambrose took the opportunity to congratulate Miss SVG 2015, Deonte Mears, the semi-finalists for the Calypso competition, as well as those who have been selected for the Soca and Raga Soca Monarch competitions. He also urges Vincentians to come together to make this year's celebration one that is very memorable to all.
We experienced a resounding success with the major shows which have taken place so far. I think you can recall that over the years, things just spiraled upwards in action as the season moved on. Most certainly, the rural carnivals have begun literally with a steam of their own. Reports and our observations indicate that these shows demonstrate an improved standard as they are being witnessed and enjoyed by the general population. We remain thankful for the media for assisting us in keeping the attention focused on these events. And most definitely, gratitude is expressed to the sponsors who show such high level of confidence in the producers and the participants in all the rural exercises for Vinci Mars 2015. I wish to congratulate Ms. Deonte Mears on winning the Miss SVG competition, and of course we wish her the best at Miss Carafal.
The CDC chairman says this year international media houses will be covering the festivities, and that as a very important part of Vincentian culture, persons must work along with CDC and organizers to make the event as professional and enjoyable as possible.
The action begins with Fantastic Friday on Friday, June 26. This is our opening show, and 22 Calypsonians will vie for a place in the finals, which climaxes in the Dimanche Gras show on July 5th. As you realize, our kids are never left out. They will make their mark at the Junior Carnival, which takes place on Saturday, June 27th, followed by Junior Pan on Sunday, June 28th. Again, permit me to remind the non-masqueraders, parents and adult friends, to allow the children to play mass unobstructed by adult presence. While we understand that the adults need to be there to supervise the children, but again, I make the plea for you to please walk along on the sidewalk with the bands. Remember, we have international media helping us to promote our festival to a larger market, so we need to present a product that is highly professional in every regard.
In related news, Ambrose further stated that the CDC has put a lot into the upcoming shows and encourages persons to attend from the Calypso semifinals this Friday to the show that the entire Caribbean has been waiting for, Soca Monarch. The chairman promises everyone fun-filled, action-packed, and safe events.
For the Vindec Junior Pan Fest, we expect a big turnout once again from members of the public. There are 12 steel orchestras from schools and communities. So the general public is encouraged to come out and support these youngsters. Tuesday, June 30th is the date for the NBC Junior Calypso competition, and we invite the support of all. to come out and hear these youngsters from both the primary and secondary schools. Panorama Steel and Glitter on Thursday, July 2nd. And on Friday, July 3rd, it is the Miss Caraval show. There are 9 regional delegates for this show. And our Miss SVG 2015 makes the total complement of 10 beautiful young ladies vying for the covetous title of Miss Caraval. On Saturday, July 4th, is the mother of all shows, the most anticipated, the most energetic, the most thunderous. It's the Soca Monarch. The entire Caribbean is waiting for the outcome of this particular show.
Earlier today, the CDC announced the 14 soca artists who will come up against reigning monarch Delroy Fireman Hooper in the National Soca Monarch competition scheduled for Carnival City Victoria Park on Saturday, July 4th. The artists selected from the preliminaries are Ryan Royal Abraham with his song Dust It Up, Lancelot Mad Skull Gloucester Scott with All You Know Me, Phil Dr. P. Da Silva, Not Me Alone, Keith Currency, Tremor, Rayon Fet King, Madzard Primus, No Decorum, Shirts Problem Child James, Sickle, Orlando 6 Crazy Foster, Dirty Mass, Hans John, Formula, and Chanel McKenzie, Stop Lie On Me. The other finalists are Alhaji Alaji James, Disturbance, Travis Wizkid Lynch, Avalanche, Shane Hyper 4000 Husbands, Shatter, Gamal Skinny Fabulous Doyle, Mashup International, and Rondi Luther McIntosh, who is making a return to the competition after years of absence, performing Charlie Charlie. In the Raga Soca Monarch competition, also on Saturday, July 14th, 2015, 9 artists will come up against reigning monarch Delroy Fireman Hooper. They are Lancelot Gloucester Scott, Mad Skull, Man of the House, James Morgan, Jamesy P, Chronic Disorder, Rayon Primus, Fat King Madzard, My Queen, Chanel McKenzie with Disengage, Hans John Atmosphere, Chanel Williams Scorpion with Soca 365, Search James, Problem Child with So Amazing, Shane Husbands or Hyper 4000 with Too Hard, and Gamal Doyle Skinny Fabulous with This Island Is Mine. All artists in both competitions are asked to attend a meeting at the CDC's office in Victoria Park on Wednesday, June 24th at 5 p.m. A representative from the bands Vikings and Kinetics are also asked to attend. At today's final media conference by the CDC, the Beauty Shows Committee presented the winners of the Miss SVG Best Dressed competition with their prizes. According to Chairperson of the Beauty Shows Committee, Cheryl Rodriguez, the winners were chosen after careful consideration and adds that the Best Dressed competition has been a very popular and innovative aspect to the show, which they hope to continue. The Best Dressed Male, Rayshawn Adams, and the Best Dressed Female, Shaquelle Bob, the 2014 Miss SVG second runner-up, will receive complimentary passes to city shows for the remainder of the season, among many other prizes.
Rayshawn Adams, the best dressed male, to come forward. He will receive a gift basket from the St. Vincent Distillers Limited, a complimentary season ticket to all CDC produced shows in Vincy Mass 2015, and Ms. Shaquelle Bob, who was the best dressed female, she will receive dinner for 2 at the French restaurant, a complimentary season ticket to all CDC produced shows in Vincy Mass 2015.